You see, I have a long series called Save Your Saves, where you send in saves where you're having trouble on Football Manager, and I try and give you tips about how to make them better. But this video, I wanted you to send in the best saves you'd ever had, and we're gonna rate them. First from Ollie said, I've taken my local club Gruner in Norway. It's German-inspired because it was a German that created the neighborhood. From the 5th tier to Eliteserien, we are, as far as I know, the only team in Norway to play in purple kits, which I love. Odd thing to point out, but I'm with it. I'm with you. I'm on your level. It was a long struggle. I even relegated a year. But since then, I've not looked back. It's probably one of the best things I've done in an FM save, because I've never done a lowest to highest before like that. 16 to 17 years into the save, still not won a title, but that's the goal for this season. Probably the cup. Off-topic wholesomeness, Bodo Glimt and Stabæk have made new stadiums honoring two people who deserve it. One passed away and one diagnosed with Alzheimer's. Only use the editor to change the kit color and fix stadium names. They said that because I did include a section in the submission sheet asking if you'd use the editor or not. We're operating on the honor system here, and they did self-report and using it to change kits and fix stadium names, which... fair play. But right off the top, I gotta say I'm always impressed by somebody that sticks with the same save with the same club after they get relegated. That's a real kick in the teeth, and it takes a lot of gumption to get yourself back on the horse and get yourself back up to the next league again. That happened for them once they got to the second division, the Obos League, and we see that down here. Then they got relegated again, and then 2 years later, they were getting themselves promoted into the top flight. They're in their second season in the top flight now. They finished 12th last year, and right now they're sitting in 10th. So this has not been like an explosive rising save, and I almost love that. I mean, we're talking about somebody that spent 4 consecutive years finishing second or third in the 4th division after earning a promotion in their first season. They spent 5 years in the Norwegian 4th division before getting themselves promoted. Now, while they might not have been able to ascend through every league every season like somebody that plays Football Manager obsessively might have been able to, they battled. They stuck it out. They showed heart, and they're getting reward for it. I'm actually kind of in love with this save. There's so much Sigma grind set and like, oh, if you don't win the Champions League in 3 years attitude in Football Manager, that stuff like this just kind of gets overlooked. This is an achievement. Financially, the balance is positive. They have a transfer budget under $1 million. Original was $837,000. Wage budget's less than $2 million a year. That is dead last in the top flight. Everybody is spending at least double that on finances, but a lot of teams in this league are financially insecure. Well, our dude Ollie in charge of Gruner is actually managing to keep this club in a steady financial state. I love that. If we look at the team, they've got, a wonder kid, Artie Lufti, a playmaker from Albania. If we look at the profile, they've got a couple of high potential players, but they're utilizing loans and building the team up organically and naturally. No gimmicky transfer tactics, no scouring the world for wonder kids, a vastly Norwegian team. Just a really simple approach to Football Manager. Running a 4-2-3-1 with 2 defensive midfielders that they named after themselves. And I've poked around here. They're managing to drag a pretty freaking untalented team very far to mid-table in the top flight in Norway with some of the guys that he's got planned for him. It's realistic, it's challenging, and I am thoroughly impressed. I actually am really digging this. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Even though they're obviously not reaching the pinnacle of achievement in Football Manager, the general stick-to-itiveness and the almost realism of this save and looking around it impresses me. I want to know more about this person. This reminds me of that 4-4-2 tactics submitted by Brian. Like, I really just want to know how Oli approaches this. I feel like they suit up for almost regular league matches when they're managing them. Like, if this sort of thing was happening in real life, this is exactly how the squad would look, how the team would feel. It's weirdly realistic. Also, the 7's there because look at that leadership support. He's a legend at the club. Come on. This is like a role-playing save. I'm here for it. Next, Tarman Valens with Black Knights. And they're only, so what do you want to show off in your save? And they just said, the Wonder Kids on my team. I'll be the judge of that. All right, so Black Knights is playing against Tottenham. I don't know, is this a real team, Black Knights Football Club, or do they create it? We're in the year 2035, and at the start of the game, they were in the Vanarama National League North. Cranked off 1, 2, 3, 4 consecutive promotions before an 8th in the championship, and then a pretty quick rise up to the Prem. So basically, from the start of the game, it took them 10 years to win the Premier League, which is insanely impressive. That is wildly impressive. The club doesn't appear to be real, so I believe this is a created club situation. I don't know exactly how it was all set up at the beginning, but obviously financially they're in a really good spot now, so we don't know what like advantages were afforded to them. But what they really wanted to point out was their collection of Wonder Kids. So let's take a look. First of all, their top player, 24-year-old Englishman Joel Hill. They got him from Fulham for 26 million back in the day, which is a very good snag. You can get those types of prices from championship teams. Looking at 20 vision, 20 determination, good athlete, model citizen personality. The 2 jumping reach hurts, but this is definitely a really good player. Probably didn't need me to tell you that. They have a left back from Luxembourg, Roy Ewert, and now this is what I'm talking about. Everybody is always talking about those flashy offensive fullbacks. This is a dude with the skill sets of a world-class center back that's just too short to play there and plays out on the wing, absolutely locking down opposing wingers. This is the type of person you want lining up across a Vinicius of some kind. He's obviously not great going forward, but he's a good pickup. 85 million from Bayern Munich, definite resale value here. Asking price set at 160 million, and apparently you're angering him by transfer listing him. Fair. Striker Andres Rios, he's got a lot going on. 20 years old, probably a ton of improvement to go. Looking like a pretty standard advanced forward wonder kid though. Nothing I'm spilling my tea over. If you can get that pace up to 18, I'll be spilling my tea. 19-year-old German Melik Tim, definitely going to be one of the better players in the world over the course of his career, but nothing that jumps out at me like this is a Ballon d'Or winning type player. He's just going to be a very good player for a very long time. Either-footed classic pace winger Pedro Coelho, Mexican center back who doesn't have great size or pace, or I don't ever really see it. He's kind of a mentality monster center back. They just signed him for 70 million from Ajax. I feel like you missed an opportunity to get him from Pumas. This guy was starting for 2 years in Mexico. A couple of Americans, which I definitely appreciate. Hard to get good Americans on Football Manager these days, but I'm going to give 2 ratings to this save. I'm going to go ahead because I don't know the circumstances around the rise. I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. It's insanely impressive, especially if there weren't any special circumstances included in the creation of this new club. But on the Wonder Kids, I'm going to kind of go thinking maybe like a 7 out of 10. I feel like if you're winning the Premier League a couple of years over, you might actually and probably should be getting a few guys that are just a little bit better than this, especially if you're hyping them up. So the rise, the save, a 9. The Wonder Kids, a 7. But not bad. You're just missing that piece de resistance. You're missing the Messi, Ronaldo, God tier player. It's like even this guy, he's lacking in the athletic department. He's got the technique, he's got a lot of creativity and mental attributes, but he's a snail compared to other world-class players. And he doesn't like big matches. Whatever. Next, we have Captain Watterson at Hull City. I've won the British Premier League consecutively 13 years in a row. All right, it's one of these. The last 11 years of my save, I've made the Champions League final 11 times, and I've won 8 of these finals. I also, at the time of writing, have over 1 billion in the overall balance, with no debt due to buying Wonder Kids, and having 60 out on loan a season, and then selling these players when they get to around 28, 29 for big money, keeping the team young. I have also won a plethora of domestic cups. This is the best team of players I've ever had on FM. Every player in every position is literally world class. In some seasons in the past, I've been predicted 1 out of 4 in the season preview for the title. So the first save, we had a real grind, no gimmicks. The second save, we had like a classic fast English rise and some Wonder Kids that are definitely going to be able to help you win a Premier League here or there. This is a super team save for sure. Oh, mamma mia, he barely won the Prem this year. Won 3-0 on the final day against Crystal Palace. Must have been absolutely sweating. But it has been, I believe, 13 consecutive Premier League titles. Yeah, from 2029 to 2041, straight through. 13 consecutive Prems. Shout out to Manchester United for finishing second in 6 of the last 7 seasons and 7 overall since Hull City's reign of dominance started. You see, this type of save is always the dream of mine. It's stupidly impressive, but there is a certain point that you reach, typically where I kind of wrap up my save on Twitch, where you are in a position where you can just build a super team. Instead of trying to compete against the other bullies, you are the bully. As long as you can find the Wonder Kid, you have the Wonder Kid. And it seems as if this person has continued that kind of natural progression. We'll start with this guy. He's a pure 5-star player, plays on both wings, has 18 pace, 18 stamina, 17 jumping reach, 17 balance, 19 agility, 18 acceleration. Great dribbling and crossing, not a bad passer, super high technical floor, probably able to get a lot of goals and does. Signed for 19 million from the Real Sociedad. That's a crazy good deal. He'd actually managed to make like 33 first team appearances for Sociedad. They just probably hadn't been able to renegotiate his contract to get like a higher release clause. 74 million from this kid for Fiorentina. You're just pulling guys up from that kind of mid-level, upper mid-level of high-level European leagues. Either-footed, crazy balanced, solid size, great mentality. This is just fun to look at, dude. Look at how many players are rated at least 4-star. He has 16 players rated at least 4-star. I'm all the way scrolled down. There are only 5 players in his first team that are not rated at least 4-star by his staff. There's this guy. He's getting paid 29 million a year. Oh yeah, I mean, mental monster. Physically, he's all there. Great jumping reach. You need that at fullback and FM for whatever reason. They're always defending those crosses. Yeah, the technical stuff is fun too. It's just good enough for them to be dangerous, but with his mentals and his physical ability, it just makes him an absolute nightmare. I can click through and look at these players all day. I mean, look at that guy. Come on. I mean, this feels like you're looking at a Manchester City type roster where everybody can kind of do a little bit of everything. There's a lot of fluidity. This guy's another extremely balanced player. I don't think Captain Watterson likes players that are one-trick ponies. They definitely like to sign players that are really good at everything. This guy's 30 years old, but I understand why he's kept him. Signed on an $18 million transfer from Birmingham back in 2029. That's the first year Hull City won the league. Didn't make an appearance in that season, but has been on the Hull City payroll that whole time. Well, let's see the loans. All right, here are all the first team players on loan. Look at that, dude. Look at the potential and ability of all these guys. I mean, these guys are out on loan and they're like bona fide world class. This guy's out on loan to Manchester United. I guess he just doesn't even have room in his team to be able to register. Like, why is this guy out on loan? I don't even know. I feel like this guy would start in any team anywhere ever. This guy's a positively outrageous player, but I guess maybe his slight dislike of big matches. If you're at the point where you're loaning out guys like that, this is actually just the ascension to super team status. Created a full-blown super team. It's a talent factory. Gonna be able to win everything everywhere for a long time. And just look at that. 4 or 5 straight Champions Leagues and now back on a 3-year run winning Champions Leagues again. They've won 8 of the last 9 Champions Leagues. You know how hard that is to do? It is rare that you see a super team type save that is developed to this extent. A transfer budget of $1.2 billion. A wage budget that is actually remarkably well managed. Less than mine on my Twitch save right now. He can buy literally any Wonder Kid he wants and still continues to sell for value to keep making the team as wealthy as possible. You already know where I'm going with this. This is a 10 out of 10. This is what a normal 10 out of 10 save looks like. Everything's gone right. You've beaten the game. This is what beating Football Manager looks like in a traditional save. You have to start creating more abstract challenges like Youth Academy challenges and stuff moving forward to prevent yourself from just turning every team into this. Next! P-Folk from Tranmere Rovers. They submitted the best Wonder Kid transfer window I've ever had, which set the table for years of success. In summer of 2030 in the championship, I signed 6 foreign Wonder Kids for around £25.5 million, financed mostly with incentives and installments. 8 years on, Andre is club captain, Claris has over 200 goals to the club, and the other 5 were sold for combined $291.5 million over the years. 3 players came from LB Châteauroux. Interestingly, that is the last team I played a FIFA manager mode with. Just a Zealand lore answer. Going 7 for 7 is insane. No other player I signed in those 2 windows was a Wonder Kid, and Riviere shows up under the 2029-2030 season of the transfer history. Okay, so basically, P-Folks talking about one transfer window that built their entire club, which is cool. So we're now in 2038. In the club, Tranmere Rovers has managed to win the Premier League the last 2 years. So the point is that 2030 season, which in 2030, 2031, they finished second and got promoted to the Premier League the first time, which is awesome. But that is the season where everything turned around. So let's go look at those sales and see where those players are now. So they spent $21.5 million in the previous season. And the first one was Alexander Riviere, who is a center back who was signed for $2 million from Châteauroux and sold on for $58 million to PSG. You can see in the title winning seasons, he kind of fell off a little bit, but I get the love here because he ended up turning into a lot of value. And he played, you know, obviously a huge role in them getting promoted and then played in the Premier League for a long time. Definitely became a backup when they started winning the league, but hey, he still deserves those medals. So who were the other players? There was defensive midfielder Eduardo Braglia, who was signed for $11.25 million from Cologne and played 3 full seasons in the Premier League. Then he was sold to RB Leipzig for $60 million, but he was the most expensive one. There's Javier Granado, who was purchased for $7.75 million from Tenerife. Played a couple of seasons in the first team and was then sold for $89 million. Roger, a Spaniard, purchased from Camber for $6 million, played a ton of matches in the Premier League, put up really good goal contribution numbers, and then moved on to Everton for $44.5 million. Based off his match rating and everything, kind of surprised at the low price of the sale. There must have been a better player coming through because this dude's definitely worth like $100 million at least if I'm looking at his attributes. Great pace, great ball control, pretty darn good passer as well. Fits into any world-class team, but definitely an amazing signing for $6 million. Then there's the captain, Christopher Andre. 44 caps for Spain. Absolutely incredible either-sided fullback. Look at the dribbling, crossing, first touch. Can I get a new gen fullback that has that? He was signed from Guingamp for $5.75 million. Whoever your scout was in the French league, by the way, give them a raise. I don't care if they've died. Give them a raise post-mortem. This is insane. Played 39 matches in the championship in the promotion season and has captained the team to 2 consecutive Premier League victories. Been a regular player every time. Also, you rotate a lot. If the max number of matches he's played is 31, you rotate a lot. What a player. They took a lot of shots on other players. There's Nathan Zakuani. Look at that work rate and athleticism. Oh, you love to see that. Signed for $3.4 million and then sold to Club Brugge a couple years later for $33 million. After playing a couple of seasons in the Prem, eventually ended up on Man City. Mamadou Sidibe for $2.5 million from Châteauroux. Oh, he's a Malian? Sign me up, bro. Just an incredibly regular player the whole time. I mean, it's all this one window. How many minutes were taken up of your Premier League career by the players signed in this one window for no money at all? Eventually sold to Real Madrid for $111 million. That is a profit of $108.5 million after getting 6 great years out of him. And then the piece de resistance is this guy, Oscar Claris. Okay, all right. I see how he has so many goals. This guy got 18 dribbling, 18 finishing, freak athlete, great off the ball. He's just a plug and play advanced forward. We're talking about a dude that you bought from the 2nd division of Spain for $450,000, who showed up in the championship and scored 33 goals in your promotion season. 2 years later, dropped 25 goals in the Premier League. Just absolutely crazy value. But he also strikes me as one of those players that the rest of the world doesn't value as much, but his comfort within the team and the system and being that advanced forward, which you obviously are using. Yeah, there it is. It's just remarkable. Your team's also nuts right now, by the way. I'm sure your financial situation is fantastic, and it is. Keeping the payroll down as well, that's crazy low. $274 million for a team that just won the Premier League twice. You're 8th in the Prem in salary expenditure, behind Everton. Well, I mean, I guess that's why they're getting so many point deductions. Sorry, Reece. But you were right to point me towards this transfer window. One of the single most impressive transfer windows I think anybody has ever put together in history. You spent $60 million, you said mostly on installments and incentives anyways, and brought in a bunch of players that literally to a man are still on your team contributing or were sold for massive profit. I don't want to be a sap here, but I'm going with a 10 out of 10. This is an amazing save, amazing effort, amazing team building. Next, give me a sandwich managing Chelsea. Was inspired by Zealand to do a journeyman save. I did one match as American Samoa to start my career. I love this. I love this so much. And then grew my name in Singapore. I love it even more. Before moving to Japan. Took a team from the 3rd Japanese league to the top flight before heading over to Vitesse to get them promoted back into the Eredivisie. And the following season winning the Dutch Cup. After proving myself at their former farm team, I headed to Chelsea where I found myself in $200 million of debt. First 2 seasons, I posted a transfer income of $400 million, lowered expenses, and won the Europa League. All right, so they've been at Chelsea for 2 seasons and engineered a 6th place finish and then a second place finish. I don't know if they've been here for both of those. Just gotta respect that history. I mean, wow, what a run. They never actually won the J League, which obviously sucks, but what a journey with Ahime, and they saw the opportunity to take a big club in the Dutch second division. Can't doubt it. One head coach of the year in the Premier League, finished second. Yeah, so they weren't there for the 6th place season. They were just there for the 2nd place season. If you start your career as the head coach of American Samoa and battle your way all the way to Chelsea, this is a 10. I don't even need to look at the rest of the save. I'm going to, but I don't need to. I'm really interested in this transfer business. So let's go back. Good God, 719 million in sales. Brother sold the entire team. Sold keeper Dennis Seaman. How are you kidding me? You sold him for 145 million. He's a really good goalkeeper, but that is an insane amount of money. Sold Nicholas Jackson for 68 million to Newcastle. That's fair. What's amazing about the amount of money they made is it's not just like a couple of big sales. Obviously, the Dennis Seaman move could potentially go up to 174 million, which is crazy. Enzo sold for 65 million. Kendry Paez sold to Dortmund. Malo Gusto sold to Napoli for 55 million. Fofana sold for 48.5. House was clean. Sold off Julian Alvarez for 21 million total. And Kunku for 10 million to Galatasaray. Guess he was getting a little old. Completely cleaned house and then brought in Rayan Shirky. I don't know if I'd have made that transfer. Obviously, it ended up working out. You know, one coach of the year had an amazing save. Already been rated a 10 because of the journey. Danilo Bologna. Oh, God, I hadn't gotten to his physicals yet. Hello. Got a defensive midfielder named Drake, which... Watch out for the diss tracks. While they're running the Ecuadorian beast, Piero Hincapi. This is team that should have a shot at the top of the league. Obviously, slow start to the season, though. They're sitting in 6th. Probably a little frustrated with that. But you can see where the debt was. There were no lies. They were 200 million in debt, and they've gone all the way up to a financially secure position. So for that alone, I also give you commendations. I can't give you another high rating because I already gave you a 10 for the whole American Samoa thing. Not managing the dynamics super well. That might end up being your downfall. Definitely doesn't seem to be a tremendous vibe in the locker room. You also apparently have a lack of depth in the goalkeeping department, which I believe means you started this save in the beta. So sorry to hear that. And you made the promise to develop youth players in goal. I mean, I should have expected it. You're a mad lad. You started your save as the national team coach of freaking American Samoa. But it's a 10. Any journey like that, you're getting a 10. Next, SM Chenrave with Villarreal and Real Madrid. Greetings, Zealand. This is the save that you saved back in March. Oh, yes, this is a save I saved before when I was managing at Salernitana. I remember that. Since then, I've taken 2 different jobs in Spain, first with Villarreal and most recently with Real Madrid. So I was able to overcome the adaptability issues I was having previously. I've won tons of trophies in Spain, including a Europa League, a Champions League, and most impressively, 4 consecutive Copa del Rey titles, 3 with Villarreal, and then 1 with Real Madrid. Additionally, I managed to take control of England and got them all the way to the World Cup final, but unfortunately I lost that one. I would love the chance to revisit this save and show off the significant progress that I've made since we last looked at it. Yeah, I mean, hell yeah, dude. No matter what rating I'm dropping, huge congratulations for going on through the whole process of submitting your save for SYS and then actually being able to carry on with it forward. I like how the next match is you as Real Madrid manager against Villarreal. But the journey all the way from the 3rd Japanese league, even though it's stalled out, well done. I mean, seriously, it is very easy to hit the stall button and lose your passion for a journeyman save, but you push through that. And with Salernitana, you were not loving it, but you finished 3rd. You got head coach of the year. That's the type of stuff I'm talking about. You mentioned overcoming that adaptability issue. You're talking about the fact that adaptability on a manager doesn't change when you look at the attributes. Yours just stayed 5. Well, moving to a lateral team, like you've turned Salernitana into a lateral team for the Yellow Submarine Villarreal, then moving to Villarreal puts you on the radar for a team like Real Madrid. Now, it looks like you're going to be able to put the league in your back pocket as well, which is huge. I don't know if you were ever able to do that with Villarreal, but I'm also going to say, while you clearly turned Villarreal into one of the best teams in Spain, not sticking it out until you actually won the league with Villarreal before you moved, that kind of hurts a little bit. If I was a Villarreal fan, I'd be displeased that you finished 2nd 3 times in the Liga, but never stuck around to be able to see it out. You got this one where you lost to Real Madrid by 4 points. This one you lost to Real Madrid by 9 points. This one you lost to Real Madrid by 14 points. I can see why you wanted to go to Real Madrid. They were winning a lot of the leagues ahead of you. But I just feel like if I was the coach of Villarreal, I'd want to see it out. You know, I'd want to finally try and climb over that mountaintop. But you know what? It's a journeyman, and I'm sure Real Madrid offered you a job the moment they fired their other coach. You also failed to win the World Cup as England, which is something I've also done, but apparently it's so easy for the AI, we just need to study how they do it. But jumping from Villarreal, failing to win the World Cup as England, I'm going to go with a 7.5. Because you did journeyman your way all the way to the top of the game. Can't be too hard on you. But great job sticking to it, and I am happy to see a successful SYS. Next, we have Gipple the Fish with Paris FC. I wanted to show off my save as I was able to get Paris FC from League 2 to the Champions League in just 3 seasons. Last season, I finished 4th in Ligue 1 and was able to win the Conference League and have just qualified for the group stage of the Champions League in the early part of my 3rd season. I think I have a wonder kid left back who came in through my last youth intake, and I am excited in general with the moves I have made despite not having a lot of money. I also wanted to show Z what a League 2 winning team looks like. So what they're referencing here is my journeyman save on stream, where at Saint Etienne we bottled League 2 spectacularly, and I have still never won the 2nd division of France. Yeah, whatever, man. Fine. Cool. Yeah, sure. I'll look at your save. Whatever. Cool, dude. Cool. Sick. Yeah, 100%. Fine. Sure. All right, Nick Phallus. I mean, Phelan. All right, we... Oh, Nick. Okay. So you took this team over, got promoted in 1st place, finished 7th, finished 4th. That is something to be proud of. I want to just say right now, you're doing a good job. We've seen a lot of 4-3-3s and 4-2-3-1s. As fun as a lot of the different roles are, the basic formations have been really successful for a lot of people this year. You do have Mika Faye, the Barcelona Academy, like wonder kid from Senegal. I love Mika Faye. It's a great pickup in the French league. You have João Rego. He's a great pickup. How is he still only 21? Ilaix Moriba's on your team, which is hilarious. And you do have some genuinely top-level players like Estanis Pedrola, but the rest of your team is still kind of lacking that Ligue 1 winning quality. So as much as you very rightfully are able to clown me, I think you might be struggling to identify potential wonder kid options. You did have an original transfer budget of 38, nearly 39 million. If you're ever going to catch PSG, you're going to have to go bag more wonder kids. And it is obviously earlier in this save than any other save that we've looked at, so that's hard to rate. But I can't rate it too low because you did get out of League Duo by actually winning the league. Ooh, you locked in Champions League last match of the season. That must have been nerve-wracking. And managed to do that after qualifying for Europe in your 1st season in Ligue 1, which is definitely really solidly impressive. But because you made fun of Saint Etienne, it's a 1 out of 10. Okay, it's a 1 out of 10. Next we have Isaac Cass with AC Milan. Hi Zealand, this save was on the first live SYS with problems related to Yusufa Mukoko. Dude, yes, I remember this one. I have played on a few more seasons in the evolution of the squad to go from one strength to another and fully rebuild Milan into one of the best teams in Europe has gone swimmingly. And I would say we're fully set up for the long-term future. There has also been a decent amount of academy talent that we have managed to develop into quality players like Camilo Minella and Salvatore Serra. While we are Wonder Kid FC, I am also proud of a few of our cheaper older signings for depth like Marco Benuzzi and Brighton St. Omar, who were undervalued by their previous clubs. Editor used for one registration blunder. You know what? I appreciate you being honest there. You messed up a registration thing and then you used the editor to fix it. That's the kind of honesty we can all strive for. So the big issue with this save was that you were spending your resources really poorly, but Yusufa Mukoko retired soon after we did the SYS, so you didn't have to worry about that sizable amount of money you were spending there anymore. Your wage budget is healthy, your transfer budget is stupidly healthy, and the most important thing in this SYS is to look at your transfer expenditures the last 2 seasons. So you made 377 million from transfers and spent 181. Good. And the year after that, you made 509 million from transfers and spent 175. Good. Most recent year kind of went the other way, but you built up a lot of good faith with the amount of money that you had made in previous seasons, so that's totally fair. The other important thing is to see how this squad's been constructed. And I see some really high-level wonder kids and a terrific age profile right through here. These are young players that have been acquired at a very high level, but I'm a little concerned. Are they good enough? Yes, they're absolutely good enough. You've been able to maintain that success really convincingly. 5 straight Serie A titles, the restoration of AC Milan. But strangely enough, with 5 Serie A titles, no Champions League titles. You did win 3 consecutive Italian Cups, which is sick, but no Champions League titles is definitely a little wild. And this is a very aggressive formation. That might be why. You're not getting plus marks for the formation here still. That's a little better. Okay, it looks like you've got, you know, cold, medium, and then hot here, and we were just on the hot one. Yeah, the players on this team are definitely good enough to be winning a Champions League. So what happened? Quarterfinals. Oh, you lost a final on the penalty shootout. Lost another final. Semi-final, round of 16. That was the first year that you were the coach of the team. So semi-final, final, quarterfinal, lost the final on penalties, quarterfinal, and currently in the Champions League semi-final against United with Chelsea and Tottenham on the other side. I really freaking hope this is your year, dude, because this is a rock solid save and a great turnaround, and I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 because I'm loving the way the squad building has gone down since we talked about it. I mean, you have a collection of really serious ballers here. I think this is similar to that one other save I was looking at earlier where you are missing that like bona fide world star in a going forward position. Who am I kidding? It's probably this guy's stupid. But like winger or a striker that's completely unplayable. I don't see that guy on your team, but that'd be the only thing you're missing. I'm going to go 8 out of 10, but your team is set up for a long, successful run here. Next, we have Soapy, who's managing in England. This is my journeyman save in the 2040s. Immediately interested. It ventures across Mexico, India, and Europe before reaching Borussia Dortmund. We need more people in the world like this. My crowning achievement in this save is the unbeaten league run as part of my sextuple winning 11. Wow. Some members of the squad have now moved on, Andre Udretz and Simon Eichinger, but new members have stepped up. That's to replace them now that I have left. Okay, so they've left Borussia Dortmund, and they're naming a couple of players. Like, I love me a journeyman that takes people all over the world. Getting to experience the full breadth of Football Manager and getting to play out a real life career is just super freaking fun. And instead of staying at Dortmund, they just became the England coach, which is more realistic. Spent 3 years out of a job, dude. What were you doing? Coaching New Zealand, I guess. But stop that in 2039, I guess. The thing is, I don't see a sextuple here. I've been hoodwinked and bamboozled. I see a Super Cup, Bundesliga, Pokal, Champions League, which there is a chance for that season to be epic. Was that 2037? There it is, dude. There it is. You know, people play Football Manager for a lot of different reasons, but I think one of the things that gets overlooked in Football Manager a lot of the time is hunting the experience, because this guy's had a very long career. It's 2042, managed all over the world and had a bunch of different awesome experiences. But the one thing they remembered, the one thing they wanted to talk about was that magical team where they caught lightning in a bottle like Xabi Alonso at Bayer Leverkusen, won 30 of 34 matches, won the quadruple, and I'm assuming won every game they played that season. No, they lost they lost 2 Champions League matches during the knockouts. They were undefeated domestically in the Cup, the Super Cup, and Bundesliga, and obviously won every competition they were in, on course for an invincible season in Germany, which we of course know in real life has never happened and may happen this season with Leverkusen. But it's about chasing those moments. And in a Football Manager journeyman, getting those moments can be truly magical. Like, as much as my journeyman on Twitch, I've gone all over the world. We started in the South African 2nd Division, went to the Netherlands, went to France, whatever. One of my most cherished memories from that is winning the 5 big South African trophies in my 2nd year at Orlando Pirates, right? That magical season where everything went right. We won the African Champions League, and it was a ridiculously special year. We're in a cup final. A 16-year-old made an interception and scored the goal and became an instant legend. Always remember you, Lalamela Bad Boy, shout out. But being able to produce these one season moments of magic, it's all well and good to go build those giant super teams, but this is special too. And I just love the fact that they remembered this. Love a good journeyman. I'm going 9 out of 10. My goodness, 18 allowed in 34 matches is ridiculous. It was a lot of fun to see your best saves. Thank you so much for sending them in, and let me know if you like this type of video. We can do more of them in the future. If you want to watch some good old-fashioned saving broken saves, I got one of those for you up here, just to keep the binge watching rolling. Or you can just hang out and stare at me for another like 5 seconds. I'm a pretty good-looking guy. I don't want to, you know, what's up? How you doing? You come here often? Hopefully. Pretty cool YouTube channel, I've heard. A lot of forehead.